Katie and Amy, we're very pleased to have you here today. It's very kind of you to come to give evidence, and the committee really want to hear about your own experience of online abuse and about why you started the petition. So could I begin by asking Katie, can you tell us a little about your experience of online abuse and how it's affected your family?
So the reason I started the petition was, well, I've got 5 children, and out of all of my 5 children, the online abuse is only against one of my children, and it happens to be the one because the colour of his skin. He's got multiple disabilities. He gets mocked for his size, the way his eyes are, the colour of his skin, and you know, I kept reporting people. And then other people were telling me about it, reporting them. These people would get closed down, but then I'd reopen and start it again. And it just kept going on, to the point it got so bad that there was these vines that you could do vines. People were doing videos on Harvey. And there was one point that a guy did a video on Harvey, making out he was having sex with him, basically. But what I'm thinking is, it's bad, but what goes through people's heads actually want to sit there and do this about an innocent child who can't reply back. So anyway, I've got loads of gatherings together of everything, and then I went to the police. In fact, I've been to the police twice. They've arrested 2 people, got all of their computers, mobile phones and everything, and even the police were really embarrassed because it got to a point where they couldn't take it any further because they couldn't charge them with anything because there's nothing in place. So they had to get dropped, the cases, basically. And since then, it's just continued. It's got worse and worse. I mean, you name it, Harvey gets it. They mock his picture on sweet packets. They put his head on, what's the ISIS? They put his head on that. I mean, you know it, they do it to Harvey all the time. I've tried my own way of naming and shaming people online and to let everyone say, look, do you know these people? How can we get hold of? I've done everything I can, but nothing gets done. And so basically all I want is, you know, online is the future. And I just think there needs to be some more security checks, because if in life, all these things that are said online, if that was said like now to a person, you know, they'd get arrested. I mean, but there's nothing in place for it. But, you know, they'd get in trouble. So why is it any different when it's online written down? I think people don't treat it as serious.
Yeah. Thank you, Katie. How long has this been going on? And you said it's been on a long time. Can you give us a rough idea how long it's continued?
The past few years, it's got worse. You know, I've had it before, but, you know, at least I've got a voice to speak. Harvey hasn't, and it's very clear. People who mock Harvey, they know he hasn't got a voice back. Yeah. And they mock him more. I mean, it's even got to the point, there's been a couple of people in the public eye, like Frankie Boyle, they're discussing things he said. He basically said that Harvey was going to rape me and all of that. I complained to Channel 4 because they were, this is all why I'm doing all this. Yeah. They were advertising for the Paralympics. And then after the ad break, they'd have Frankie Boyle on talking about Harvey like raping me. I went to Channel 4 and Frankie Boyle for an apology. None of them would do one, so I'd done a show on it to see why do people do this stuff on Harvey. Why is it acceptable to people to mock people with disabilities? Nothing was done then. Like I say, the police couldn't do anything. I've tried online, I've tried to get people closed down, but it still continues and it's getting worse. It's just getting worse all the time.
And not only that, I don't think it just affects, it's not just us it affects. We know by the amount of contact that we have from people, it's everyone. It's from children to adults.
People in the workplace,
teachers, everywhere.
Whether you're gay, straight, colour of your skin. I know I'm here because it started off because of Harvey and his disabilities, but this isn't just for people with disabilities as well. It will help everybody.
A lot of people
online.
suffer.
Yeah.
You said that, you know, you think you know why Harvey is singled out for abuse. Is it because of his disabilities that he's mostly mocked, or is he subject to racial abuse as well?
A lot of racial abuse, his size. I just think they find him an easy target just to pick on. But I'm his voice, and I'm here, and I'm going to protect him.
You see, the thing is with
Amy
Harvey...
Price.
Sorry, am I meant to say my name?
No, I'll say your name, just so the recording is speaking.
Right. I think also the fact is that people know he doesn't understand, and what makes us angry and hurtful as a family is that he can't defend himself. Yeah. And if you think like how we are, what must other people feel like themselves when they have like a child, or even themselves? you know, they may be able to help themselves, but
Yeah.
there isn't anything that can help them.
No.
And that's
Thank
the
you.
problem.
Can I bring in Steve Double here? I think
Thank
Steve
you.
wants to ask you something.
Questions for Amy. From your point of view, how do you feel that the online abuse has impacted the whole family?
Well, I'll tell you what's happened with us. Kate's always been in the limelight, and she's always had her amount of like people that say things about her. Why do you do this? Why do you do that? And then I used to get really angry as a mum. This is going back years, but you get used to that kind of thing. When it started happening to Harvey, and because I know like he's so inoffensive, he can't protect himself. You think, why? What can I do to help? And it impacts on all of us because it does upset you, and you do feel emotional about it. So we need to do something about it.
Okay.
It's hard.
Steve.
Yeah, and how do you as a family feel about the campaign that Katie's been running?
I think we're very passionate about it because there isn't nothing in place that can help us or to help other people that suffer this online abuse. And the thing that makes me angry, if someone was to do it face to face, they wouldn't do it. They hide behind these computers because they know they can get away with it. And it is really hurtful. And even for my other grandchildren, they see it about their brother and they know he's like special needs. But I think they take it personally because he is their brother and they can't protect him. So it does have a really bad impact.
Yeah. Can I bring in Damien Moore here?
Katie, what would you say to people who say your family suffers abuse because you put pictures and videos of Harvey online? What would you say to them?
I think that's a really good point. I'm actually glad now that I have put myself in the public eye. I'm extremely happy that I show Harvey because there's so many people out there. I get letters and that all the time from people who have got children or family members with disabilities. They don't know how to cope with it. Some people don't want to go out in public because they don't know how to cope. They don't know about people staring. And me, I'm proud of Harvey and I'm proud of it all. And if I wasn't in the public eye, I would not be sitting here now because I would not have got 220,000 signatures in 1 week. So I'm actually glad throughout my career, whatever people think of me, this isn't about me, like me or hate me. I'm here to protect others. And I'm actually glad it might have taken me 25 years to achieve something by sitting here and if I can make a new law.
Thank you. Paul Scully.
Thank you very much. You talked about the fact, I think you mentioned on Loose Women, how you'd had 3 people arrested and, you know, through complaints, but nothing had gone with it. I'm wondering how many times you'd complained to social media providers?
I've complained so many times to social media providers. You know, you can report people, and then you don't really hear what happens, but then you might see them closed down, you know, because I've got a big fan base, well, Harvey has as well. And anything that anyone says, they always say, have you seen this, report this, have you seen this? And then sometimes I have to think, if I keep putting up, saying, do you know this person, what this person, one, am I giving them more attention to do it? You have to look at it. So I get sent stuff all the time, but the only ones I really complain about are not the ones who just make the odd comment. You have to backtrack to see how many times have they said these abuse comments about them? Are they racist to other people? So it's not just the odd comment, because you'll get people to do that just for your reaction. I actually look at people and backtrack what they're about, basically,
So
how many times they've said
so. What happened when you reported it? What response did you get from the social media providers?
They just say, we'll let you know we've reported it. That's it.
That was the end of it.
You don't really hear anything.
So it's like an
no.
automated response almost, that kind of thing. There's nothing
No.
personalised. What about the police? If you can just
So
go
when
into
I
a
went
bit
to
more
the
detail about
police,
the
the section, especially with the video, I went straight to like Horsham Police because I thought, you know, I'm not having this. This is disgusting. And this same person, he had done it on other people as well, all racial stuff. But he had a hell of a lot of stuff from Harvey, hell of a lot, mocking him. So I got all the evidence together and went straight to Horsham Police and said, right, I need to report this. As soon as the police saw it, they were disgusted themselves, and they were so good. This went on for quite a few months. They really wanted to push it far, and they said, would you be prepared to go to court and all this? I said, of course I would. But then they were ringing, they said, I apologise, we really apologise, but there's absolutely nothing we could do because there's nothing in place to charge him with.
So you felt that the police
They
understood the effect it was having in your family, the online abuse, but it was just there was the system.
They were so angry with these people themselves because they had children but you know, they were like, but there's nothing in place, and they said, I agree with you. There's nothing in place that we can charge them with.
And what did you actually want to happen to the
So this is what, for example, if you're going to be a nanny or something, you get police checked, or if you want to get a car on HP, they want to know your address, your utility bills. You know, they want to know every information. Say, like, if you didn't pay for your car, they know where to find you. If say if someone came to you for an interview and you really like that person, you thought, yeah, I'm gonna take them on. Yet someone come in the office and said, oh, actually, I think you need to see this, and you realise they had a criminal offence for online abuse. You'd look at that person different to think, oh, they've got this side to them, and it would probably put you off taking them on. And this is the point. So.
There's something on the record, basically.
Yeah, there needs to be.
That,
but bearing in mind, you are allowed free. This is my point of view. You are allowed freedom of speech. Of course, you can, and you can have banter. You know, you can have your point of view about things. But there is a point, and this I think at the next discussion, hopefully it will get through, where you sit down and draw a line. When does it become a criminal offence? You know, how harsh does it have to become, or how many times do they have to say it? So I can't sit here now and say, right, at this point it has to be a criminal offence, because I think that's a whole discussion. But there has to be a point we have to discuss when it would become a criminal
You
offence.
see, the thing is, why...
You allowed to talk?
I think I am. I also think, like... Oh, God, it's so embarrassing.
Go on.
Right, so basically, like, when we, like, come up with the idea of a register, it's because, like, even, like, for children, if they realise, as they, like, are going through school, if, like, with schools, because I know they put things in place to stop, like, bullying, if they realise there is something that could actually sort of not influence them, or would stop them getting a job or something at a later date in time, it would give a warning to them that if you continue this sort of behaviour, this could happen, and in your future, you know, you may be on it for a few years, it could sort of impede you getting a job or something.
Yeah. But even
do you know what I mean? It's
school,
got to be something.
but at
that
school,
deters
people are getting bullied, and maybe the school deals with it then. This is just children, you know, because this is for everyone to know, but I'm just an example at school. They get told all about bullying, but they forget that after school it's all online.
That's when it goes
And
wrong.
they can't control that. So there needs to be some kind of control. And I truly believe that if it is set in place that it will become a criminal offence if you're caught, I don't think there'll be as much of it. But there's definitely nothing in place. You know, you can make up an email, you can make up whatever, and then you can make up a name and you're straight on that site. You get reported, you could do it again. So it's like they need to tighten it up, just so you can pinpoint these people and you can go around there. Surely it can't be hard work to do that. And I'm not on about even this country, it'd be worldwide. You know, it would stop so many deaths and harassment, abuse. You know, some of you MPs have even had it as well. I mean, it happens to everyone.
Yeah.
So it's a no-brainer, really.
Thank you. Can I bring in Liz Twist?
Yeah. Katie, your petition asks for online abuse to be a specific criminal offence. And you've talked a bit about this already. So what was it that made you want to ask for that change?
Because of the most horrific things that have been said about my son. It's a joke. And although I've tried everything I can, like I say, gone to the police, I've reported people, nothing has been done, and it's still continuing, and it's getting worse and worse. And not only is it Harvey I'm protecting, the more I've spoke to other people about it, it's so damaging to people. You know, people who are starting out, it's just damaging to people, and it's just got to
It's
stop.
always out of date, really, isn't it? When you think about it, because these social media has taken off, and that's the way it's going to go in the future with a lot of things. And it's got to be policed a bit more now. I think there has got to be laws put in place, guidelines what you can and what you can't do. And even though, as Kate was touching on the freedom of speech, that's still obviously important. But there's got to be guidelines online as there is offline to people.
So do the two of you think there's a gap in the law?
Yes.
Oh, completely. I mean, like I say, for my petition in 1 week, I've got 220,000 signatures. And a lot of them people said, I don't like you to me, but, which is not very nice either. But they were like, we're not fans of yours, we don't like you, but what you're doing we think is amazing. Because it generally will help a lot of people.
Yeah.
So,
And do you think all abuse should be criminal, or just the most serious kinds of abuse?
Well, this is where it comes with freedom of speech, and anyone's to voice their opinion. So there has to be, this is what I mean, it's a discussion of how far it goes before it becomes an online abuse. But like, even with one person, why should they get away with even doing it once? I mean, how many times does someone have to keep abusing you before the action's taken? They shouldn't have to do it anyway. So, you know, that you could get someone who might not be as strong as myself, and, you know, like Harvey's had stuff saying, why don't he just die? And now, imagine if there's some young girl which is really vulnerable and someone says, you know, why don't you just die? And they're like, oh my God, and then they go and commit suicide. That's what I mean, it could just take that one abusive message.
Yeah. And do you think the law should specifically address online abuse that's aimed at people with disabilities?
No, I think it should be aimed at absolutely everyone. Doesn't matter your age, race, workplace, anything. It should be for everyone. No one deserves abuse. Nobody.
We know that obviously people with disabilities get it more because people with disabilities have always been mocked, and that shouldn't happen anyway. But it does affect everyone now. It's not just people with disabilities, is it? It's everyone.
I get it all the time, but it's down to me to choose if I want to write back or not. Do you know what I mean? But I think in my case, I'm just so used to it through the years. But there might not be people as strong as me. But like, especially with Harvey, he hasn't got a voice to speak it, so I am his voice.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Mike Hill?
Your petition also asks for a register of offenders. Why is that important to you?
Well, we did it together. It's important because I think they should be a register of offenders, because why shouldn't they? They should be like named, shamed. If they're big enough to go behind their computer and say these things, then I want them named and shamed of what they're about, because it will affect them. It will affect their jobs. It can affect everything for them. But it's funny how some of these people we've complained about online, or the people who got arrested, they're always like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it. Oh, but you're only sorry now you got caught. But until you got caught, you were still doing it.
But they're also not like kids or teenagers. They're
Some of them
fathers.
are, yeah.
We've got children. We've
Well,
had where
this
they've
one
got
I
children.
got arrested, has he had a daughter?
You know, so it's got to go for everyone, really.
So you think such a register would help stop online abuse?
Well, I think that the register and having a criminal offence in place, and if people generally know, and I think you'd have to see it in effect to make people realise it, because you can always say, oh, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, and I think if people realise and actually hear about people actually having a criminal offence or being charged or something, people really will think twice about doing it.
Thank you. Catherine McKinnell?
I mean, you're clearly speaking for an awful lot of people today in calling for a change in the law, but are there other things that you think could be done as well that might help to stop online abuse, reduce online abuse?
Yeah, I think that, you know, when you sign up on these social media, and not only that, I bet if you went to Facebook and you said to Facebook, right, every time we see abuse now, we're going to charge you or something, they wouldn't want that. So they have to tighten up as well. I mean, it can't be hard to do a security check so these people can be found. I mean, how can that be difficult? And it would save so many lives, so many situations, like, how it can't be difficult. It's not like we're asking for something, we're actually asking for a good thing.
Do you think the social media platforms actually have a bit of a responsibility here as well?
They've got to have, haven't they? I mean, you know, it's affecting everything, isn't it now? Social media, really. So there's got to be tighter guidelines, and they've got to look at things of like making things safer on it as well now. You know, and it goes for everything. It goes to schools, it goes to the workplace. It's everywhere now, isn't it? So it's got to be tightened up.
I know you lot sitting there do agree with me, really. Yeah. I think everyone agrees. This is the thing. This is why it's a no-brainer. There's not one person I've ever spoke to about this who would not agree. It's a no-brainer. I know we all agree, but we've just got to get the government to do it or help us with it, because it would help everyone.
I mean, even Theresa May today's done a speech on it, hasn't she?
Yes.
So you know we're getting there. And the funny part. Wait a minute. The funny part.
Bring in Martin Day.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just a couple couple of quick questions on the awareness of online abuse, and they're really to both of you. Do you think that people who perpetrate the abuse have any understanding of the harm and the distress it causes to the victims?
Right, this is a thing as well. The online abuse, you've got to remember, there might be somebody who've been hurt in the past, who've been mentally, how can we say, some people might have got mental problems for something that's happened to them in their past, so they might be behind it because they want to punish people because of what's happened to them. So you do have to be careful. This is why I say about the criminal offence, how it stands, because there might be someone who's gone through this experience themselves who don't really want to be horrible, but it's their way of getting there. Do you know what I mean? Getting it off their chest to abuse someone else because they've been through it. I can't remember.
You've got to look at people's backgrounds as well.
Yeah.
To take that into consideration. It could be a lot of people that are just angry, and that's the way of venting their anger.
But then some people find it funny because
Yeah.
then you get so many retweets, and people like, if someone puts a video out like they did on, say, like Harvey, some people like to see how many retweets they got, see how many people thought it was funny, and they get a buzz out of that. So there's so many different factors to why people do these things. Whether they mean it or not, they still did it, and they just, because it's funny when you actually speak to them, or like I say, the ones who got arrested, they're all sorry, and there's everything I want to do. Even that Ben Stokes, the cricketer, he wanted to do a massive apology. Why? For the media to make out he's nice, and I'm not interested in his apology. He shouldn't have done it in the first place.
Do you think people would act differently if they genuinely understood the harm and distress that it caused?
I think that in my case of Harvey, I think if these people who've said these things about Harvey, I bet you anyone, if they actually met him, they'd probably want to cry, or they'd be so guilty, because although he's a big guy and whatever, and he might look intimidating because he is big, he's so innocent. He wouldn't even know how to hit back or defend himself. And I know people feel really, really guilty about what they do. But I still don't understand how people have even got time to do it. What goes through their mind to even want to do it?
Yeah.
Paul Scully.
This is a short one, really, to follow on for that. I mean, you're obviously hugely in the public eye, so you've got loads of tweets coming at you and these sort of things. How much do you think the response that you get, the negative stuff that you get, maybe, is they don't actually understand there's a real person at the end of it that's looking in on this? You know what I mean? It's sort of it's either on television, it's in a newspaper. They don't really exist. And you, maybe if you bite back, they sometimes then, as you say, are repentant. They realise what's actually happening.
I think as a person, I'm very misunderstood. What you've got to remember, I've started in the media when I was 17. And I'm 40 this year. But anyway, I'm not worried about that. So I have had, not just the media have even attacked me. I've had it good and bad with the media. It's like a yo-yo for me, good, bad, good, bad. But I'm so used to it. I mean, I've had the worst headlines said about me online, the worst things. But I'm not a normal case because I've become tolerant to it, which isn't good either, that I should become tolerant to it. But there are times when I want to bite back, but I've sort of grown not to do it. I
sort of meant the person, because it's one thing for the journalist to do it that actually probably will come across you in some way, shape or form in a public forum, but someone just sitting there behind a keyboard that actually, as I say, they just see your avatar, they don't actually see you, so they don't connect.
Yeah, and I know for a fact if they actually met me, they'd be completely, because I'm actually normal like you. Look, I go home, have my cup of tea, put my tracks on. I don't know why people think that I'm up here or whatever, and it gives them a right to abuse and whatever. I'm just a normal person as well. But
that's the same with everyone, isn't it? That's the same with everyone that does it to other people. They are just normal, but they just think that screen and the fact that they can't see you, it gives the entitlement to do it.
I mean, it's an extreme thing to actually bother, go to the length of making a video.
But this is what worries me.
Sending a statement, isn't it? Yeah.
This is what worries me. It's to even mock Harvey's face on, I know he gets called you black spastic and all of this, or they put him on glue or something, but someone's taken the time to find the glue thing, mock his picture on it, mock a word. I mean,
is that normal?
Is that normal to them?
Of course it's not. No. Thank you so much.
And it happens a lot. But then he's got a massive fan base himself. Everyone loves Harvey. I think because because they've seen him since he was a baby. They love to see how he's progressed, and people they do say we've done well with him and stuff. So there's so many people who've got love for Harvey, but then there's just so many people who just find him a good excuse just to pick on.
I think everyone who's met Harvey this afternoon would say what a lovely boy he is.
Yeah.
And as you say, complete innocence.
All he does is talk about trains and frogs, am I
Trains
right?
and frogs.
That's
Yes,
all he
absolutely.
talks about. And going to Japan next weekend on the
Saw
Gatwick
it,
Express.
Before we wind up the session, I mean, is there anything else that you've not had a chance to say in response to questions that you'd like to say to the committee now? You know, we realise how passionate you are about this, how much it has affected your family, not just Harvey, but the other children as well. So is there anything else you would like to say to us that you think we ought to know, or that you would like us to do before we wrap up?
I feel that you know where I'm coming from. And anyone who's listening, watching, who are being trolled at the moment, I just want them all to know that we are trying our best. And I really, really hope that you guys can really push and help this happen, because something has to be done. You know, I'm sure.
It's not just for us, it's for
that's what I mean.
people behind us as well.
Everyone.
They've all suffered, so you need to actually, now it's just not like lip service, something actually does need to be done.
Otherwise I'll be like Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back.
Well, Katie and Amy, thank you very much for coming to give evidence to us this afternoon. It's been a very interesting session for us, and it's been very interesting to meet the rest of your family today. We hope you've enjoyed your day and you haven't found it too intimidating.
No.
And we look forward to seeing you back when this is listed for debate. We hope you'll come and listen to the debate.
We're relying on you guys for the next stage.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.